guys, welcome to my review of 75367. I'm FitLegoGuy, but you can call me Josh. This was my first UCS set, and I think this was a great one to start. Growing up in the prequel era and being such a big prequel fan, this was the set that I wanted over like the Republic Gunship or Obi-Wan Kenobi Starfighter. This is the flagship set that I had to have, regardless of all the controversy within it, which I'm going to get into. I'm going to touch on very slightly, because you've all heard the controversy, you all know what kind of happened, and if you don't, we're going to try to leave it and keep this mostly positive. Because, well, I think that this is a very expensive set, and no doubt, and it does have some flaws. I think it's a very good set that you do want to pick up. But let's discuss some of the information, right? It was released in October 2023, officially for VIP, I think somewhere around the 1st to the 4th. I don't remember exact dates, and then sets don't exactly drop on the 1st of the month like your other sets. The big UCS sets kind of available for if you're a VIP member, which it's free, or insider member. You might as well take advantage of that. So you can pick up these, but that's not the only reason to join that club. The other part of it gives some exclusivity to those insider VIP members, and then they release it early in the month, and you can still pick it up and still get the promos and all of that, provided they're still available. That's the history of how a LEGO UCS set releases. Now this is an 18 plus set, which I definitely recommend. I definitely think LEGO did a good job at keeping it 18 plus. And there's 5,374 pieces, and this thing is massive for my size. I don't know how many, but it's like 4 feet long, like it's the same size as my table, and I'm not sure if I have a wide enough lens that's gonna be capturing all this. It has 2 minifigures. Now, I know that I'm always an advocate for more minifigures, and I'll say that about any other set. The display sets that don't, like Starship Collection, helmet sets, that LEGO should be throwing in minifigures into those. Even the dioramas that are stud built should have minifigures in them. Like the Padre set that came out earlier this year. I think that never have enough minifigures to a point. But with this large UCS set, it's not a master builder set. You'd have to have a giant plaque to store all these minifigures. You're not going to have them standing on top of the set, and there's no interior on this. So I think having the 6 minifigures is a great little amount that you can put in here. And I think the 2 that LEGO chose for the set is the most needed minifigures in this set, and I'm glad that one of them was making their return. And we gotta set up this set. That definitely, first glance at it, if you don't know, if you're not a huge nerd, don't read every little DK book and get the differences between animated, don't care what movie show this is from. But I think that this is more designed from the Clone Wars version than the Revenge of the Sith. Not a problem. It's a great ship. It's massive. It has a commanding presence that you want from a Venator. And the thing that makes me think that is that it does have the 2003 20th anniversary of Clone Wars, except that this is trying to be from the 2008 Clone Wars show, which hasn't reached 20 years yet. So this 20th anniversary of Clone Wars is a little confusing on why LEGO is celebrating without having any true sets from that show. But that might just be me. The other thing I gotta set up is a little bit of the controversy around Rex. Now, at the time of this release, there was already leaks coming for mid-2024, which included Captain Rex coming in the Y-Wing, which kind of tainted the release and exclusivity of Rex. Now, that was not LEGO's fault. That is the leak community and how everyone is in competition to get out first. And with so many leaks coming out, that is also right about when we got the fake leaks as well, to kind of that fact so people could sell off their Rexes. I think if you're buying a UCS just for one minifigure, you might as well just part out and buy the one minifigure. But if you're buying it for the build and the experience of that, having an exclusive minifigure in there, but because it does say in the instructions, which I have lost my first 2 instructions already, so that's just a huge bummer. Both the minifigures in this were exclusive to the set. Now you can argue that they were exclusive at the time, even though the leaks were coming out, so about that as you will. but I don't really want to dive into that too much. But let's get into these minifigures. Captain Rex is a great looking minifigure for the most part. He was a perfect minifigure to include in this set. He does have the newer helmet with the helmet hole, so you can attach the rangefinder to him. But I do think the rangefinder does look a little bit goofy in the double hold helmet. Now, I'm not one that harps on or thinks that... I'm not going to be the one to say I hate helmet holes. I don't think they look the best, but they're fine. But the print on the helmet is good. It looks good for what LEGO has been able to do with the helmet holes, which is nowhere near the custom companies, but that's a different topic for a different day. But underneath the helmet, you have Rex's head, which looks pretty much like a normal clone head, other than the fact that he does have that bandage from his Season 7 when he got his inhibitor chip removed. I think is a great exclusive head to include in this. Even though these two characters didn't share that same scene, Yularen wasn't around when Rex was getting his chip removed. But I think they both need to come in this set. But more on Yularen in just about 30 seconds. Torso seems to still be that combination design of live action animation, which makes his little pouch a little bit oversized and look more like it appeared in Ahsoka. Still not bad. I still think his torso looks really good. You got the weld marks from his phase 1 and 2 armor welded together, which was the same on the helmet. I don't think his torso is the best, but I don't think it's the worst either. I think it looks fine. And his legs, I'm not the biggest fan of that printed on waistcape. I think a cloth one, especially for a UCS set, needed here. But I do understand LEGO trying to keep everything consistent, as they've been printing on waistcape since 2020. So might as well keep that up, or 2021. And then he's got the toe print as well. Now where the minifigure really shines is that arm print. The arm is absolutely gorgeous and perfect and really spot on. You got the comm links on there, you got the tally marks. They look great here. Now he does also come with oversized blasters, which you've heard some of my reviews when I mentioned about 5s, that I just don't like those blasters for anyone but Mandalorians. I just don't think that they work. I think the smaller pistols, as inaccurate as they are, with the little scopes on more like Han Solo type pistols that are used for officers, Han Solo, and other characters that use those ones, were better choices. They're more size accurate, even though they aren't accurate. I think that they're a better choice than these oversized Z-type blasters. Admiral Yularen. Now this is the figure I was more stoked about than Captain Rex. Now I got Captain Rex in 2013. There's also lots of customs that you can get for $20, which saves you the $300 on that 2013 one. But Admiral Yularen was the figure that was a must-have. He was making him. LEGO hasn't made him, and he's been really hard to get. He's a Comic-Con exclusive, and he's Imperial look. Getting Clone Wars version of him. Now there's an argument whether his color is correct. Is it gray? Is it green? This is like but realistically, it's a grayish green, and so I think the gray looks fine. I think it works here. I think that the color works for Admiral Yularen. I think the hairpiece, the face print is excellent. It's just excellent. He has the dual molded, which work really well here. Now I do think that maybe he could have used a handgun here, but I think him without is just perfectly fine. But now we gotta talk about this build, because this thing is massive. Like I already mentioned before, thing is about 3 to 4 feet in length. It barely fits on my table. Now, I do want to discuss some of the issues, but I had just overall, this thing looks really good. This is a really great display piece. Now, I will be improving that, and there's a few things you can do to improve your build experience, and that includes getting a light kit, which you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell, because I'm making a video on how to improve with a light kit. Really girthy engines, accurate looking. Now the engines do sag a little bit over time. This is after 8 months. Right out of the box they didn't sag. Over time, definitely, they do start to sag. And you guys, now one of the kind of flaws on the set is that for a UCS set there shouldn't be this many stickers. Now granted there's only 6, but I think the color of gray that you're matching doesn't match. I think that more translucent stickers going over the gray bricks would have been better with just little details on it, and then the fact that it's hard to line up. Luckily there's companies that have created these same bricks with exclusive prints that you can go ahead and buy, which I think I will be doing. Now you did have 48 bags, so that's a lot of bags. 2 boxes, and the boxes just look absolutely gorgeous. You have 8 turrets on the right and left side, which don't have to line up perfectly, which for me, I like a little, I don't know what the word is, but just not lining up, like looking like they're each attacking their own target. You also have the side blasters here. This is a UCS set, it doesn't have a lot of features. Bridge, your starship bay doesn't open up, while the dark red is. But LEGO also didn't just do the front side and go, you don't need to do the same detail underneath like they did with the T6 shuttle. They copied the detail underneath on the set, really creating that looks really good. And then you also have a gunship on the right side with a closed bay on the left. There just isn't too much inside this set. I just think but everything kind of, you got all kinds of greaving. You got the studded tile look that captures all over this, and I think a perfectly tiled offset wouldn't have looked the best. I think really the studs are what makes it LEGO. I think throwing in tiles and studs really capture what this looks like, and I love the different colors of the dark and light gray mixed in with the dark red. I just think it looks really good to being a Venator. But that's kind of the build, and the build experience took me a long time. It's definitely like 8 to 10 hour build if you build it all at once. It's 5,000 pieces. It is a lot. Pros and cons. We're going to start off with some of the cons. And not having an interior, the complaints about that, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm going to be paying $500 more for this set, which was $650. I think a cool feature though would have been, a system in place where the front of the ship could open up like it does in so often. We were talking about cons. The other part is the stand. Good stand compared to some of the other stands that have come in UCS sets, from what I've heard, because I don't have any, so I don't have the experience. But I did have issues where some pieces would break off, and then to fix it when it's already built, it kind of destroyed, and you have to figure out how to rebuild it again. And 5,000 pieces is a lot to be going through. This is definitely a set you don't want to drop. This leaves no detail unturned, and that's kind of where we kind of get the pros. Other cons, the engines do sag very slightly over time. More than a couple millimeters, maybe an inch of sag in there, which really isn't a ton. They created the engine so structurally sound into the body as well as they could. There wasn't too much more that you could do without really, rubber bands or something to attach the engines. And only the big engines really sag, which are the best looking of the engines. Getting into the pros, just like how many pieces, how girthy it is, how size and massive this looks. This has a commanding presence, and that's a really good pro for it. You also get the lights and all the details on the sides of the bridges. The bridges are pretty accurate with the dark red. Everything is size accurate and looks really good. Well, this isn't minifigure scale, because that would be every little left no stone unturned. And I like the stability of the stand. I think it works really well. But who is the set kind of for? I'm an adult collector with money, but also I think you're gonna buy this. I would sincerely wait to buy it on a 4x VIP point. It probably has another year or 2 on the shelf. I don't really see this retiring anytime soon. Sincerely, wait for 4x, 2x VIP points to really get your money's worth if you're going to buy it directly from LEGO. Or find it on some good sale from Amazon or something like that. Those are great ways. Those are the only reasons why I would this, which exactly what I did. There was an almost immediate 4x VIP point right after its release that I took advantage of to buy this and get points, and then use my VIP to get $50 off. So ways that you can kind of get good deals on it. But that's going to do it for this review. If you like this, go ahead, drop a like. If you haven't already, and I've got another video you're going to want to check out right over here.